Coronavirus cases still on the rise. Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine shows positive results. Lululemon quietly enters at-home fitness, and Tesla's stock keeps moving up. This is a Seville Reports Weekly Review, where we take a look at the headlines that move the markets during the week and all things investment related. On Monday, the three major markets were up big. The Dow closed up 580 points, the S&P 500 closed up 44 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 116 points. The big gains came in spite of California Governor Gavin Newsom ordering bars to reclose in Los Angeles and 6 other counties to slow the spread of the coronavirus in California. Florida and Texas made the same orders for its bars last week. Boeing helped boost the markets, closing up 14% on news that the FAA began the long-awaited test flights on the 737 MAX. Markets also got a positive push from pending home sale numbers, which showed a 44.3% increase in May from April and doubled the 19.3% consensus that analysts were expecting. Wells Fargo was up slightly on news that it plans to cut its dividends, becoming the first major bank to do so. Citi, JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, and Goldman Sachs have not made any changes to their dividend payouts. And Nikola Motors started taking pre-orders for its Badger truck, causing the stock to increase 6% on the day. Pre-order numbers had not been released yet. On Tuesday, markets ended June and the second quarter on a good note. The Dow was up 217 points, the S&P 500 closed up 47 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 184 points. The S&P 500 gained nearly 20% during the quarter, its best Q2 ever. All 11 S&P 500 sectors closed out the second quarter in positive territory, with consumer discretionary leading the way with a quarterly gain of 32.6%. Other news that pushed the markets higher was the consumer confidence report for June, which registered at 98.1, up from May's 85.9 reading. Fed Chair Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin testified to Congress. Both discussed the commitment made to help the U.S. economy through the coronavirus crisis. Dr. Fauci warned a Senate panel on Tuesday that the coronavirus could accelerate to 100,000 cases per day if the country does not manage to contain the latest outbreak. On Tuesday, the per-day numbers for coronavirus infections was around 40,000. Tesla's stock was up almost 7% on the day on a Barron's report of a leaked email that suggests the stock could be added to the S&P 500. And FedEx closed up 4% on the day after reporting an EPS beat by 97 cents and a revenue beat by $880 million. Revenue was down 2% year over year, and operating income came in at $907 million versus the $1.72 billion from a year before. On Wednesday, the markets closed mixed. The Dow closed down 77 points, the S&P 500 closed up 15 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 95 points. The market digested the Fed's meeting notes from the June 9th and 10th meetings. The Fed discussed being more transparent in future communications about what could cause the central bank to keep rates where they are or increase rates in the future. ADP provided their private sector employment report, which showed 2.3 million jobs added in the U.S. in June. Pfizer announced that their coronavirus vaccine candidate is showing progress in a trial phase. The news helped move the S&P 500 higher. Facebook was up higher on news that CEO Mark Zuckerberg agreed to meet with organizers of the growing advertising boycott. In the fitness space, Peloton made its app available on Roku, and Lululemon purchased at-home fitness company Mirror for $500 million, now putting Lululemon in direct competition with Peloton. In earnings news, Macy's lost $2.02 per share, which beat estimates by 47 cents, but the company missed revenue estimates by $700 million. Revenue was down 45% year over year, and gross margins fell to 17.1%. On Thursday, the market started off hot on the back of a good jobs number, but faded through the day. The Dow closed up 92 points, the S&P 500 closed up 14 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 53 points. The Labor Department reported that 4.8 million jobs were added back in the U.S. during June. The announcement pushed the Dow up over 400 points earlier in the day. The number beat the 3 million jobs that analysts and economists expected, but the country still had 1.4 million people file for unemployment benefits last week. The markets also processed Florida reporting 10,000 new coronavirus cases, and that may have contributed to the market's fade into the close. In other news that made the markets move, digital insurance company Lemonade, LMND, debuted on Thursday, closing up 139% on the day. Tesla also had a big day, closing up almost 8% and crossing the $1,200 per share mark on its Q2 delivery announcement. The company delivered 90,000 vehicles in the second quarter versus the 83,000 that analysts expected. Markets are closed on Friday in observance of America's Independence Day. Overall, the markets closed up in the shortened week. The Dow closed up 3.2%, the S&P 500 closed up 4%, and the Nasdaq closed up 4.6% on the week. In crypto news, Bitcoin continued to range during the week. It fell below $9,000 briefly, but was able to finish the trading day above the $9,000 level. Bitcoin ended our week at $9,093, down less than 1% from last week. Ethereum closed the week out at $226.15, down 1.3% from last week. Litecoin finished the week out at $41, down 4.7% from last week. And Ripple ended the week at 17 cents, down a penny from last week. Crude oil closed Thursday at $40.32 per barrel, up 5.6% from where it was last week Friday. A big winner for the week was Graf Industrial, GRAF, which increased 36.8% on the week. The company announced plans to merge with Velodyne LiDAR, a maker of sensors used in self-driving vehicles. A big loser for the week was Intercept Pharmaceuticals, ICPT, which fell 39% on the week after the FDA's rejection of the company's liver disease drug. That's a wrap for this week's market review. If you want to dig deeper into the headlines we covered, the links to the stories are in the description below, and a link to sign up to our weekend article in Focus is also in the description below. And if you're ready to get serious about investing and creating wealth for yourself and your family, check out our latest quarterly newsletter, the Seville Report. Serious investment ideas presented in a way that experienced and novice investors can understand. If you're ready to master the markets, check out our newsletter at sevillereport.com. Thanks again for checking out the Seville Report Market Review. This channel is dedicated to anyone who wants to start investing but doesn't know how or where to start. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section, like and subscribe, and may your next investment be your best investment. See you next week.